Hi, it's your leadership coach, Dr. David Arrington, and I help leaders and teams work more effectively. Today, what I want to do is I want to help you find work-life balance, right? So that's a huge expectation for probably a 10-minute video. But what I want you to understand is that you can do it. It's just hard work. Spoiler alert, work-life balance is not something that just happens. It's something you have to work for every single day. It's something you got to fight for. It's something you have to make a priority. You'll hear people in the industry saying that it's a myth. You'll hear other people saying you can do it. I'm one of those you can do it folks. I'm one of those people that understands that if you're a success at work but a failure at home, it's an across the board failure. And what you want to do is you want to understand that you've got to work hard at balance. It just doesn't happen naturally. It's not going to happen organically. It's going to happen intentionally, which is one of my favorite words. So the first thing I want you to understand is you have to make yourself a priority. What does that mean? It means that most of us are burnt out. We have really few coping mechanisms. We're working, 40, 50, 60 hours a week. We come home exhausted. We're binge watching TV. We're not exercising. We're eating at the wrong times. We're not reading. We're not spending time with our kids because, you remember when you get on a plane, they say if we should lose cabin pressure, a mask is going to drop. Make sure you put yours on before you help somebody else. That's what you got to do. You got to put your own mask on before you can help anybody else. You got to take care of you before you can help anybody else. Here's a couple quick ways you can take care of you. One, start journaling, right? Easy. It's something I avoided, and I don't know, a lot of guys avoid it. People in general may avoid it, but for me, it's turned into something really beneficial. I can look back at where I was, what I was thinking, what I was doing, and it kind of helps. And it's also a way for me to get my thoughts out on paper every single day so that I can really be more focused in my day. So then you can also meditate. Very simple. You can sit back and just be still. And there are a lot of different apps out there to help you journal, a lot of different apps out there to help you meditate, but it's something that's going to help you. It's going to give you that time, that quiet time to help you center yourself and get yourself in a good space. Because if you are rattled and frazzled and running wild, guess what? Your day is going to be a continuation of that. There's a quote that says something, you lose an hour at the beginning of the day, you spend the rest of the day trying to find it. And that's true. So even if it means you have to get up, you have to wake up a little bit earlier, do that so that you can get yourself together before your day is off to the races. The second thing, after you figure out what you have to do for you. So again, let me go back. Let me toss in there, exercising. I don't want to go on the second point before I get this. Make time to exercise. You don't have to go to the gym. I just got back from the gym, which is why exercise is on my mind. But I do it every single day. I go to the gym every single day because I know I'm not getting any younger. And since I'm not getting any younger, it means I'm getting older. And I'm still eating the same amount of food. I'm still taking in the same amount of calories. And if I'm not exercising, those calories have nowhere else to go but on my hips and around my waist. And I don't like that. So I go to the gym because I'm fighting off. I'm trying to keep myself younger, fighting off getting frail as I get older. I know I'm not that old, I know. But eventually it happens to everybody, right? Nobody just looks up one day and they're like 90. It just happens over time. So if you're not going to the gym, at least start walking. Before we went to the gym all the time, I would walk about 3 or 4 miles a day. And the only time I didn't walk was if it was like 30 degrees or under, because then it was just too bitter cold to go walking. But you can find whatever you need to do. Get out there, get some exercise, get some fresh air in your lungs because it's going to help your mood. It's going to take away some of that feeling of overwhelm, some of that stress, some of that, frustration that you're seeing every single day. So you want to try to exercise, you want to meditate, you want to journal because you got to get you under control. Next thing is you got to make your home life a priority. When you're at work all day, everyone else is giving you priorities. Everyone else is telling you what to do. This is the time after work is when you get to say what you want to do. And here's a big deal. When I was younger, when I first started out, I would pack up my laptop, pack up my folders, all that good stuff in my bag, and I'd take them all home. And this is back when laptops weighed like 20 pounds, right? So I was taking all that home, and I'd spend 8 hours at work, and then I'd come home and spend another hour or two working on things. And over time, I figured out this was a waste of time because I was spending all this time at work, and then when I got home, I still wasn't present with my wife and my new baby. I wasn't there. I was still thinking about work. What I eventually started doing was leaving all my work at work. So I wasn't, answering phone calls. I wasn't checking email. I wasn't doing any of that good stuff. What I did was when 5 o'clock hit, I packed it up, shut it down, left it on my desk, went home, spent that whole time with my family so I could be refreshed at least a little bit to go do it again the next day. You've got to create a barrier between work and home. This is when I say you got to make home a priority. 8 hours a day, you're being told what to do. When you get home, that's your time. Don't bring work back home if you can help it. Don't let work invade home, because home rarely gets to invade work. It's a one-way door. And what I want you to understand is the statistics on how much time we spend with our kids are incredible. I believe I read a statistic a while back that the average parent spends only about 15 minutes a day with their child before they go to bed, before the child goes to bed. That's insane. And I want you to understand that that's a choice that we make unwittingly. I'm now telling you, make better choices. So if you don't have kids, don't have a family, all that good stuff, then make your hobbies or your friends, whatever it is, your priority. If you want to spend time volunteering at a homeless shelter or volunteering at an animal shelter, or you want to spend time mentoring at-risk kids, whatever is your passion, your priority, your extracurriculars, right? Focus on them and make them a priority. Put them in a place where that baseball game or your daughter's recital is that important that you just tell people it's a calendar event and I can't miss this. Just put it on your calendar like anything else so that you know this is something that's a priority, because over time everything else will crowd it out. Right now, I've made a bunch of priorities. We have movie night, we have taco night. We spend a lot of time with me and my family because I want to make sure that they know that I'm here for them. Now I work at home too, so they're dropping on me all the time. But if you don't have that luxury, then what you want to do is you want to be very, very intentional. There's that word again, intentional about the time you spend when you're at home. So 1, you want to make yourself a priority. 2, you want to make your family or your after hours time a priority. And last but not least, I want you to take the time to do better at work. Make sure those 8 hours count, because that's usually the frustration. You're in meetings after meetings, you're talking to people, you're doing this, you're doing that. And when, I believe there was another study done, out of the 8 hours we spend at work, most of us really get about 4, maybe 5 hours of real work done. And that may be on the high side. What you want to do is you want to take an inventory of your day, how many meetings you're in, how long they took, all the conversations, so you can see where your time's going. Because what's happening is the time that's lost at work is made up at home. And who loses? Home loses. Your priorities, your fun time, your free time, your relaxation time, all of that loses out because the time at work is not being spent effectively. So let's figure out how to be more effective at work. Just inventory or do a diagnosis of what your week looks like. Do it for a couple weeks to see how many hours you actually spend on things that are important. And I think it's going to surprise you. And I say a couple of weeks, start with one day, because one day is going to be tough enough to kind of write down where you are. But what you can do is use your calendar and also use whatever else you can put conversations and things on your calendar, whether it's on your phone or whether it's in Outlook or wherever it is, so you can see what your days actually look like and where your time is going. Because if you can corral that time, if you can put up a do not disturb sign and tell people I'm at work, I've got to finish this, it's really important, that means that you'll cut down on a lot of useless chit chat about the Game of Thrones series finale or the basketball game, the football game, what happened over there, all these conversations that come up, and you'll have more time to spend with the people you love or doing the things you love after work. So here are 3 really quick ways to find work-life balance, because it can be done. It's just hard work. Now the rest is up to you. 1, if you're liking this, man, I would love if you like and subscribe, because we're going to be doing a lot more of these videos. 2, I also want you to grab our epic 27-point leadership checklist. What this is a way to help you become more effective at work, help you to become to spend those 8 hours at work more effectively when you're leading your teams and when you are doing all the awesome stuff you have to do at work, so you'll have more time to be awesome when you leave work. And that is going to be in the description below as well. So until next time, make today count. See you back here again tomorrow.